Hello, my name is Caitlin.
I'm Bella.
And welcome to the Colorguard Creative podcast. So today we're going to be talking about the subject burnout with Colorguard. But first we're going to talk about what's been going on in the Colorguard world, what's been going on with us at our school, and all of that great stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome. Also, too, just so you know, the previous podcast that we just did intros us, talks about us, so make sure you go watch that. But this one is going to be kind of kicking off from that. So let's talk about what we've been doing recently. So
Summer break.
Yeah, summer break, but let's kind of
But
rewind
before
a little
that,
bit.
sorry, my mind's kind of on
I know.
summer break.
I know.
But
yeah, so let's kind of go to April because we actually
Okay.
did something a little different than a lot of other color guards. We did our color guard auditions at the end of April.
I think it was end of April,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we did our color guard auditions at the end of April, and I kind of just wanted to test something out, which was we wanted to do it before the drill team to see if we could get anybody after the drill team auditions.
Yes, at our school, drill
yeah.
team is kind of the place to be.
Yeah.
They're like the big shots, you know, they're
Mhm.
beautiful, they're great. That's like one of the teams that you really want to be on. So we have a lot of kids who really love, look forward to auditioning.
Yeah.
And they do accept a lot of people, but they do end up making a lot of cuts.
Yeah.
So our goal was like anyone who like maybe didn't make the team this year, but you really want to be out on that football field, come to us. Now, did that really work out?
No.
We kind of have a smaller school.
We do.
And
but also too, like, our program is like we just laid the foundation.
Yeah.
You know, now we're trying to build off of that foundation this next year. So we do have a smaller group this year, which is fine because actually we have a lot of really, really amazing talent this year.
I love a good small group.
Oh, me too. I love a good small color guard because they can just slay, you know? So we do have a smaller color guard this year, but hopefully we be successful. You know, we continue to be present in front of the school, and hopefully we can start bringing in some of those people, you know, some of the people that are really passionate about dance but want to do something maybe else. So
yes.
That's the plan.
Long-term goals.
Long-term goals. That's how you have to look at it with like a lot of these programs, especially when you step into a program that was very shattered. I feel like there was a lot of pieces that we had to pick up, and we did that really well, though. We had a really successful winter from where it could have been to where it ended up, and I think it just gave the kids a really exciting place to jump off of. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I think we're going to have a really successful year this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we have some good kids, a couple new kids. We also did something different. As in we didn't really make any cuts this season.
We accepted everybody.
Yes, because it was a growing program. That's something that we posted about this too. That's something that you can decide as a director whether or not you want to make those cuts, or if your goal is to grow the program, you may want to consider letting everybody in who's, putting in the effort. But laying that foundation, building up from there. That's
exactly. And for me, I don't like making cuts because if you're passionate and you want to be here, we can teach color guard.
Right. Right.
And it doesn't mean that you have to be the star of the show by the time you're a senior or anything like that. Like if you're passionate and you want to be here, a lot of people can do the dance and the flag portion of color guard. So that's what I'm about. What else did we do? We also in May, the beginning of May, we did leadership auditions.
We did.
Which I am really proud of what we did there. We had them do an essay. They did a portfolio, which that was the band requirement.
Yeah, the band's requirements have always been pretty consistent. So the kids kind of know what to expect. But I really like the foundation that our band directors have laid out with leadership auditions.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked what the band leadership already did, so I was excited about just doing the same thing. But then we did an interview, and then what we also did was we offered the position for them, and then we had like a separate meeting where we went over the contract, and then like I officially told them, are you willing to accept these terms?
Mm-hmm.
And they could accept or decline, and there was nothing bad about declining it.
For sure, because, they're still picking their classes.
Exactly.
And if they see the responsibilities and decide, hey, I have a lot going on next year.
Exactly.
I don't think I can step in this role. No shame.
Yeah. No shame. Like,
if
you
your
can't
kids,
do it, I would rather you tell me than you step into the role and then you not be able to handle it.
That's stressful for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So that went really well. We also hired 2 new techs.
I love it. I'm so excited.
Very excited to get to know them a little bit more.
So when we say 2 new techs, we say 1 tech that is like, already has some experience outside of high school. And then we have what's called an intern tech, which actually I've seen this before. But it's not very common. And I'm very excited about this intern tech position because we're taking somebody that graduated high school, that literally has no teaching experience, only leadership. And then we're bringing them on and we're going to teach them everything.
Yeah. And they're both really passionate, really excited and eager to help. So that's really cool. And we'll get into the process about how we did the interviews for those techs in a later episode because there's a lot that goes into that.
A lot.
But we're really
so excited about that.
They're really nice.
It's so exciting to have staff,
It is. This is the most staff that I think our school has ever had.
Yeah.
But, it's a new thing.
And we're also going to be venturing into the middle school this year.
We are.
So we really needed that stuff.
Yes.
And I begged for it, and we got it.
We did. We had to do a little rearranging on our parts, but...
So what else did we do? We had a camp.
We did.
We had our technique camp.
We had our first summer camp. It was a mini camp at the very end of May, just to kind of lay the foundation of what the kids need to be working on this summer.
Yep.
Because we have most of June off.
Yep.
So we wanted to give them stuff that they can go ahead and practice while we're not together. That way.
And that I feel like is so important, especially for the newbies, right?
Yes.
The newbies need to know what to be you can tell them to go practice at home, but
sure,
if they have nothing to
what
practice.
do you practice? Exactly.
Yeah. So I felt like that technique camp, all we did was technique. And it was really exciting, one, for the new staff to be able to see, where are we at? But then also, too, for the kids to have, a place to be oh, yeah, this is, okay, I feel confident. This, I can work on this, you know? So that was exciting. And then what else has been going on in the Colorguard world? We had, there's a whole bunch of people going off to drum corps. I saw a whole bunch of drum corps camps going on my social media.
Have fun, guys.
Have fun.
I've aged out,
heat.
But you have fun with that.
I am also very aged out. So you
Good luck.
have fun with that. I might be able to go see, drum corps this summer. I don't know. Like, our band camp is so
I think
I don't know if we're gonna
have
be able to,
usually have a drum corps stop here.
Yeah.
Also,
they do, but they don't, I thought.
I think they kind of do. But they also do this thing, at least every year that I remember, I don't know if that's been discontinued, where a select number of Cinemark theaters will...
What?
Yes. We've
When did
gone
that
every
happen?
year. At least I remember in high school.
What?
I don't remember if they did it last year. But they'll show it in theaters, and then me and my friends would go to the theater and we'll watch it. I would look that up. I don't know if that's still a current thing, but it's definitely something that they did.
That is so cool.
It's
awesome. I
awesome.
would totally go to that.
Yes.
We should try to get our kids to go to that.
Oh my god, we should.
Oh my gosh, that would be so
Field
much fun.
trip.
Field trip.
Okay, I need to look that up actually.
Okay, we need to look that up. If you have any information on that,
Yeah,
let us know.
I'll see if I can find that out. I'll post about it, guys.
Yeah.
Social media
Yeah, and
posts.
if we find out, we'll post about it. That's so cool that
It is
Cinemark
cool.
does that. Wow.
I think it's Cinemark. I think it's Cinemark. I think
Is
it is
Cinemark? Because
It's either
Cinemark
Cinemark or
is very
AMC,
specific
and I
to
think it's
Texas.
Cinemark.
I thought, because I had never heard of Cinemark until I
really?
moved here.
Well, one of the main movie chains does, or at least did, stream the DCI either premiere or finals. See, now I don't
It
remember.
has to be finals, right?
I don't know, but it was really cool.
I wonder if Flow Marching does, because I have an account with Flow Marching.
Yeah, but does Flow Marching stream in the theaters?
No. Well, that's a great question. They should.
But that's a fun
Log
thing.
in my account.
Look out for that, guys.
Yeah, seriously.
What else?
What else? Oh my gosh. Have you seen the new Try Guys video about trying Colorguard? Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it, but I saw things about it. I follow some people in, is it Vox?
Yes, so Vox was the one that hosted them. And side funny story, when I was watching the video, they had on their shirts WGASC. And in my mind, I thought that Vox was in California. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, they're in South Carolina? I looked it up. No, it's Southern California.
Okay, I was going to say,
I was so confused. I was like, what? But it's Southern California.
Okay.
Which makes sense. That's why the Try Guys were able to go there But they spent like 2 days learning Colorguard. They went to a Colorguard competition. And they were able to like learn rifle and all of those kind of things. And
how fun.
How'd
they do?
They did Colorguard.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually learned rifle and flag. I was actually pretty impressed, but usually boys pick up like the equipment pretty quickly, because they just have like naturally upper body strength, you know. But yeah, I was genuinely impressed. I thought that the video was really great quality. Also, like, kudos to the Vox like staff. They did a really good job like explaining it and like talking about, Colorguard and what it is. Like, I got a little emotional.
Oh, that's
just
sweet.
a little bit at the end of the video, because
that's great exposure for both.
Just like our community, because our community doesn't get talked about. And even though we're part of the dance community, we just don't like get as much recognition that we should, because we are very athletic, right?
Yeah.
We have very high performance stuff and like cardio, and like you have to be in shape to be in Colorguard, and they talked about that, which was cool, because again, I feel like the Colorguard community kind of gets left in the dust in the dance community, specifically when we're grouped in with the dance community. So I liked that they talked about that, and that it's giving us exposure on such a big like creator's profile, because when I watched it, it was at 500,000 views. What? What? That's crazy.
That's amazing.
So,
and
I love
like
that.
shout out to the Try Guys.
Like, seriously, shout out, because they had like bruises on their hands and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
And like, I think I can't remember who it was, but they like injured their foot or something.
I mean, it's a lot to step into, especially with such a like talented guard.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I think they only like pulled like some of them to like do kind of like a show at the end of Vox's show, because Vox did Bloody Mary this year, or this past winter. So it was during that winter season. And so they got to actually see like the whole show, and it was cool, because that is actually one of my favorite parts about introducing Colorguard to people that don't know the Colorguard, is I show them Colorguard for the first time and they're like, what? I didn't even know you guys did this.
Especially one that tells a story. It's just a great way to get that like introduction into like what a theatrical like dance community, it is.
Exactly.
So that's really fun. I'm gonna have to watch
You're gonna have to watch it. It was
will.
Very good. Shout out to Vox. Shout out to the Try Guys. Like, it was such a cool video to, introduce and, just give the Colorguard community some exposure that we need. So, yeah. Let's go into our little sponsor break. So we have a sponsor break, aka sponsored by Colorguard Creative's courses. So if you want to sponsor Colorguard Creative, please.
We can finally pay ourselves.
Please, we're doing all of this, no sponsorships, that's fine. But if you know a company that wants to sponsor us, specifically on the podcast or even on social media as well. Scotch tape and Canva, I'm looking at you. That is like the basis of my Colorguard career, is those two. But also too, like, just a shout out to us. We have an Instagram. Make sure you're following us there. We have a TikTok, and also too, we have a thread now.
Oh my
which
God.
I messaged you about. And I was like, I accidentally
Yeah, she said, "What is Threads?" And I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it."
Well, I accidentally signed us up.
Okay.
I'm not
we'll
kidding
figure
you.
it out.
I'm not kidding you. It had an icon at the top of the page and it had like notifications next to it. And I was like, what the heck is this? And I clicked on it and I opened it and it said we had a profile. We had no profile picture, nothing on there. And it said we had 35 followers or something like that. And I was like, what is this? And
It's a little weird.
Yeah, I thought it was so weird. So we have a thread.
Okay.
So if you want to follow us on that, that's cool. It's very new.
I guess I'll start posting on it.
I can post on it. It's fine. You know, I was thinking of just like posting just like random things. So if you want to like keep up with like what we're doing on a daily basis, you know, that's a good place to go. We also have a YouTube. Make sure you follow us on that.
We're working on a lot of these things.
It's very simultaneous. Like, that's a lot of content to create. So we did create 3 videos for our YouTube, some very basic stuff on how to teach. We will be adding to it. I know, actually, 27 points in space has been the most requested. Y'all, we will get to it.
We have not been holding off on purpose. We've just been so busy. And it takes a long time to film that one.
Yeah, it's a very long video. Not only the exercise itself, right? But like breaking it down and like actually showing you how to teach your performers that.
But we'll get that posted before.
It's a lot.
So you guys can incorporate it if you want to into your technique camps for the summer band.
Yeah, we're really going to try to push to post a little bit more on our YouTube over the summer. It's just, you know, again, creating all the content. It takes a lot. So we're working on it. Just know we're hearing your voices and we will post to it. So YouTube, make sure you follow us there. We also post a lot on our Instagram, so if you don't follow us on Instagram, please do.
It's the easiest one. TikTok's been on thin ice for me.
Yeah, TikTok has been kind of like
we love TikTok,
you know?
but
like, I don't know what has been going on with our TikToks recently, but I
don't know.
I feel like our Colorguard community is not being reached on our TikToks, which I was like,
not as
okay,
much.
well, that's weird.
We need to update our TikToks, but Instagram
is the place to be because we post on our stories. We post, you know, all of our content on there, like posts, reels, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, make sure you do that. But yeah, let's get into the topic that we wanted to talk about today. And I really wanted to, you know, showcase you on this because, you know, you've confided in me and I literally have been in your position. I've left Colorguard. And I came back to Colorguard. So I know exactly where you are, and I want you to tell me, you know, what's been going on, how you've been feeling about being burnt out with Colorguard. Let's talk about it, and then we'll socialize, okay?
Right. It's kind of a hard topic to jump into just because I feel like it's been something that's been building us, but, you know, over this year a lot. Mm-hmm. But it's not something that I felt really okay talking about, especially just because, you know, this is my job and we do social media about it. Like my life right now is very centered around Colorguard, but that's not really what I wanted to do as a career. You know, having graduated college, I got my degree in art management. I really want to work in like a museum setting or an art business type of setting, and that is really hard career to break into, which is partially why I'm going back for my master's. I graduated during COVID, mostly online. I had 1 semester on campus, so I did not get to make a lot of those connections that I wish I would have, that I think I would have had the opportunity to make. Yeah. So going back for my master's, that's, you know, part of the reason I sat on it for a while, but after working here for a little bit, I realized I felt kind of stuck. And so that gives me kind of a motivator. I really like school. I was really good at it, and I was fortunate enough to finish my bachelor's in 3 years. So I'm like, you know what, I could do a little bit more. So I'm really looking forward to going back to school. But in a way, and this is going to sound pretty bad, my mind kind of thought of it almost as an out. And I feel really guilty saying that because, you know, I especially can't really talk about it with my kids because I don't want them to think that I don't want to be there. Yeah. The only reason I'm there, well, not the only reason, but is for these kids. I've kind of tried to step away from my school for a while, but I keep, you know, coming back because there's never really a staff that I felt that I could trust to like take over the position.
Yeah.
Not to say like I'm amazing or anything like that. We didn't have staff members.
Yeah.
You know, there was nobody
Yeah.
there except me, and I was not going to leave them. And I also just feel bad talking about it because I don't want like our staff, like our band staff, to think that I don't want to be there.
Yep.
Because I really appreciate our band staff and our band parents too. It's a huge thing for me. We have such supportive band boosters.
Oh, we do. They're great.
We do. They're amazing. And I would almost, I don't know, leaving makes me feel like I'm letting them down, you know? So I've had a really hard time at the end of last year kind of deciding, can I do another year of this?
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel like my whole life has become centered around Colorguard, and it's gotten kind of to the point where, you know, I graduated. I'm turning 23 next week, and I don't really have a job that can support me right now. I'm working like 4 part-time jobs. Good ones, you know, it's stuff that I'm passionate about, but I need to start. I don't have any benefits. I need to start making money. Like, I'm a young adult, and it's kind of hard. I'm kind of struggling to get excited for next year because I spent so long in my head thinking I just cannot do another year of this, and I don't know how to tell everybody because I feel like I'm going to let them down. And I'm trying really hard not to resent the job right now. And it's not because I hate Colorguard. Like, you know, I do love Colorguard, and especially like as a kid, Guard did so much for me, and I wanted to like pass that on. And when I graduated, it was during COVID, I was like, oh, my dream job is to be a director. Cool. I came and I did that. Now my dream is to start my career. I want to do what I want to do. And I'm kind of in this like weird gray area where I'm kind of have these like feelings of resentment right now because we're looking at the schedule for next year, and you know, you work a full-time job. So you know, you clock in at Creekview at like 4. Granted, you know, you're working all day, but you clock in at like 4. You know, we just hired our 2 new techs who are going to school, so they're gonna be going to school during the day, and then they're also going to clock in at 4, and then that just leaves me to have to work my entire life schedule around doing classes and also clocking in at 4. So, you know, I'm doing this Colorguard all day. I'm having to rearrange my other work schedules, and I have this like resentment building. So it's like, why can't I go start my career? I'm 23. It's time, like it's time for me, of all people, to like go ahead and start my career. So I've been a little bit checked out. I felt a little guilty. I was a little mentally checked out during our May band camp, just because I feel like I haven't gotten a break. And, you know, I mentioned, I don't know if it was this episode or last episode, I never really saw myself working with kids or being a teacher. And I love them. They are my children. I love each and every one of them. But it takes a lot out of me.
It does.
Mentally, socially. I come home drained, and when I'm getting ready for work, it's gotten to the point, well, not right now, but like especially in the midst of the season, where I'm dreading it, and I'm just like, it's making me sick because I don't want to go, and I feel so bad saying that.
But here's the thing, like, I don't, like, you shouldn't feel bad because your feelings are valid. And I just want you to know that, like, when I was 24, and when I was 24, I left the Colorguard community, and I felt such immense guilt. It was crippling. And I just had to, like, cut the string. And it was so difficult for me. And then when I thought about coming back, one of the things that I said to myself was, well, I can't go back. Everybody's going to be so mad that I left, you know? So your feelings are valid, and burnout is normal, you know? And I just want you to know that, like, you are allowed to have dreams outside of Colorguard, right? And you did something, you achieved something, and now you want to go do something else, and that's amazing for you. You need to go do those things.
I do, and I'm really excited, except I feel like Not yet, because
Yeah.
I'm about to sign our contract for next year. And again, I'm so grateful for the staff there, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a quitter. But
Not
at
Twitter.
some point, it's okay to be a quitter.
Yeah.
And
And
the
that
light
was
at the end of the tunnel for me right
Yeah.
now is the fact that we hired a tech that I'm gonna
And
hopefully
that's what I
start
was just about
training
to
for the
say.
job. Yeah.
And that's why, like, I pushed so hard to get not one, but 2 techs, because I knew that that would take such a big load off you. And I feel guilty because I have this full-time job at a job that I am making a paycheck for, but I'm at this job and I'm just like, okay, like, it gives me a paycheck. Like, there's some things that I'm battling right now emotionally with my corporate job. And, I feel guilty because I want to be able to go in and, like, help you. That's why sometimes, I show up and I'm like, hey, I'm here. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's just like a day or something, like, that gives you time to just take a breath.
It does, because I don't have them when I'm not at Colorguard. I'm at my other jobs,
Yeah.
and I'm still worrying about once band camp starts in July. When the heck am I going to be able to work at my other jobs during the week? So I'm still having this like anxiety.
I literally had to take PTO.
Yeah.
Which that
but
means
I can't
that's
take so much
that
PTO.
I have to,
Yeah.
I now, have to think about that, like, that's PTO that's taken out of my, out of my bucket if something else happens,
Yeah.
I get that because I'm like, wow, I have to take PTO for this.
And
hopefully the techs, are going to be able, that's why, we put the requirements in that we did, because I really wanted to make sure, like, if we could get this going, get them comfortable, then that means that you will have time maybe during the week where they can take over some classes where maybe you don't have to go all of the class days. Maybe there's going to be an opportunity once, like, they are comfortable that they can run class. It's the easing in part, right?
For sure. Which is fine, because I'm excited, that they're here and they're excited.
I'm excited for that. And that was why I pushed it so hard, because, like, even though I knew that you, like, have other dreams and all of those kind of things, I'm like, how can I make Bella comfortable now for this upcoming season? What can I do? And that's when I was like, I'm going to go hard on hiring these techs. Like, right. I need somebody that will fit the role that I need them to fit, and be able to take some pressure off of you. Because doing Colorguard class, even though our Colorguard class is at the end of the day, there's some people that they have like Colorguard class in, like, the middle of the day, like, it's crazy. But our Colorguard class is, at the end of the day, but it's still time that you now have to take out of your day. I mean, technically you can only work, thank God
I can
we
only
don't
work
have
in the morning.
God, thank God we don't have morning rehearsals, because I would die. But, I mean, you can only work in the morning. And then that means if you're counting in travel time, that means you can only technically work until 1.
And that means that I would have to pass up on some opportunities to make a lot more money.
Exactly.
And so that's where the resentment comes in.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about that. Like, there's jobs that I wanted to apply for, but there's no way it would work with the schedule.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I'll feel a lot better after June, when I've had some time to sit there, and I do feel a little bit more energized now that we have 2 other bodies with us, helping us, and who we can train.
During that technique camp, when we were, like, sitting there,
letting them, like, try,
not do anything, and the Colorguard was still being taught, it was such a relief for me that I didn't realize that I needed, because I was literally sitting there like, oh, I can turn my brain off for a second, because, like, this tech is teaching and the kids are learning,
and
like,
you can actually think about what you want to do next.
Now I can, like, sit here and actually take a breath and sip my drink, like,
that's another thing.
And that's
for
why
you.
I'm so excited for us.
But another reason keeping me here was also, well, I said it was like the guilt for the staff. I don't want to leave them. But it was also, you are so passionate about this guard and building this guard that I felt like, well, I can't leave. Like, this is a whole thing going on here. And I wasn't going to leave unless there was somebody who could take my place that you would trust, and that can continue to help your vision with this guard. I just wouldn't feel good about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's something that people should model, that I stay with jobs so long because of guilt. That's like a character thing that I'm trying to break out of.
Yeah.
So don't follow in my footsteps and stay somewhere where you're unhappy because you feel bad.
You don't need that.
You don't need that. I'm doing it. I'm not unhappy. I'm just, there are a lot of times where I am.
And there's a lot of opportunities that you've passed up on that you could have taken.
And I feel like now's not the time in my life where I should be doing that.
Yeah.
And it makes me so depressed sometimes. I had a hard time during marching season last year because I was like, I am not where I want to be right now.
Well, and also too, I want you to think about where we were last marching season.
It was tough.
We were literally picking up tiny grains of shattered pieces. It was so bad. And I literally thought to myself, I don't think I could do this. Like, I thought I could, but I don't think I can. Like, is this how it's always going to be? And I thought to myself, like, am I doing something wrong? Am I not good anymore? Like, it really, like, put me in that space. And you were in that space. But also, too, I'm pretty good about being able to turn off some of the emotions. Like, sometimes and this is like comes with time. I'm 30, right? It comes with time that you're gonna learn certain things and like being able to turn off sometimes. But like, you are just so empathetic, and I love that about you. But also, it can be a downfall for you because you take everything so like, you just like take it and you absorb it, and then
I do.
Now you are dealing with that, and I'm like, girl, sometimes we just gotta let it go.
You can let it go, and we just
gotta let it go, and it's so hard. I
am a very empathetic person.
You're
especially
so and I love that about. I don't ever want you to change. I never want you to change, but like, I just want you to know that like, it's okay. And I'm going to tell you a little story that happened when I left Colorguard. And, I was on Phoenix Independent, and I, was coming back for a season. It was during COVID, and my dad got cancer. And it was a very unknown time during that time. And I was so stressed. I was so like, I'm going to let everybody down. And like, I'm going to be this worst person ever. And the color guard director, her name's Brandy, I called her and said like, this is what's going on. And I'm having such a hard time. And she literally said, Caitlin, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And you need to take care of your family. And you need to take care of yourself. It's going to be okay. So I'm going to tell you now, you need to take care of yourself. And that is okay. It is okay. So I just want you to know that. Like, if you need the day off, it's going to be okay. The world will not stop.
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
And it's okay. It's okay to feel those things.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, hey, Caitlin, I can't come to practice today. I need a day.
Yeah. and that's good to know. And you've always been so supportive with like, girl, go take a vacation. I just came back from Disney. Like, what the heck? Like, don't come in. I
literally went to Disney. I was like, girl, go away. Like, what are you doing here?
But see, even day by day, I have so much guilt by not showing up that I didn't take those days off.
Yeah.
I didn't take those days. And even now, like, we have this leadership camp coming up this weekend. And I was like, God.
And I literally told you do not have to show up. I will literally run it. It's not that big of a deal. Like,
but I also want to earn my check. I feel guilty, but not guilty enough that I'm gonna it's important to hear though, because
you have earned your check with your skill set. Seriously.
But so many people just overwork themselves because of guilt, and you need to take care of yourself.
Seriously.
And I'm gonna be better this year just because we have a better foundation going into this year. And also, I decided I want to start school, and that's going to start, if I can figure everything else out, that's a whole different story.
Yes.
But I can't start till next spring, because I had to apply in this fall and then start next spring. And so that kind of gives my brain a little bit more of a, like a schedule for myself,
Yeah.
which is something that I didn't really have last year, and that's part of the reason why I
Yeah,
was
you
so
were very, like, oh my God.
yeah, I was very
I was
overwhelmed.
like, what?
Yeah.
You were doing how many jobs? Like, when I found out that you were doing 5 jobs, I was like, what?
I'm very lucky that all my jobs are flexible
Ew.
enough that I can move around and still have time to do other stuff.
Yes.
But I didn't have a schedule for myself, and that's part of the reason why,
Yeah.
you know, I had a lot of resentment and a lot of just like
Yeah.
dread, just because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, and I had no like
Path.
yeah, I had no
Yeah.
path. I was like, I'm just stuck doing color guard at this high school, which don't quote me on that. I love my high
No,
school.
seriously, we love what we do.
We
but
love what we
it's
do.
okay to feel that way.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
okay to feel that way.
You know, it comes in waves, and I said at camp, I told my techs, I was like, hey, I will be so much more into this come July camp. I'm just in this wave right now where we have worked so hard all year. And it's break time. It's summer break. Like I just need this month to take to work on like myself, and to make this little path calendar for myself. And
I'm so
I feel a
excited
lot
we
more
have June
confident.
off.
I'm so excited we have June off, and I'm just gonna
and
feel a
that's why
lot
I
more
said,
confident.
Like, even though we do have 2 leadership camps over this June, and then also too, our captain and our lieutenant is organizing the 2 guard socials.
Yeah, I'm very
which
removed
we're
from
not
that.
doing
That's
that. You
a
know,
kid
that's
thing.
their thing. You know, that
For
they're
sure.
gonna do. They're gonna like have fun, and they have like one that they're going to the pool and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fun.
Like, do we have things going on in June? Yes.
Yes.
But I am organizing those, and the leadership is organizing those. Like, that's where
which I
told the techs-
appreciate, because that kind of gives me
Yeah, I told the techs, I was like, hey, like, this leadership camp might be beneficial to you because you're new. But you know, if you can't, then because you have a job or whatever, like, it's
you have
all
a life.
good. Like,
It's fine.
it's okay to have
for
a life.
For sure.
You know, and you know, that was actually one thing that I thought about when I was leaving Colorguard was I have this life that I want to live, and I can't live that doing this, you know? And one of the things, this is going to sound so like traditional, but one of the things that was a goal of mine was to find somebody to be in a relationship with, and, you know, and get married, and like, you know, have a house together, and like, just, that was like a goal of mine. Like, I wanted that. Like, that was something that I wanted, something I've always wanted. And when I was in Colorguard, it felt like I couldn't, like, I just didn't have time for a relationship,
focus on that.
you know? Now that I'm married and I have a relationship, and, you know, my husband is amazing, but he knew nothing about Colorguard when I stepped back into it. Like, he had no idea what it actually meant when he said, well, why don't you try Colorguard again? Like, he had no clue what he was talking about. Now he does, obviously, but, you know, he is very supportive. But now that we're married and, you know, we're settled and all those kind of things, it's different than actually, like, being in a relationship, you know, just a new relationship, all those kind of things, because you have to put so much time and effort into a new relationship, and Colorguard just didn't give me that option because all of my energy was in Colorguard. And also, too, I wanted a job that could actually pay me money. Like, I wasn't making barely any money, and then I was working in retail.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but I need to I need to pay my
Yeah,
bills.
it's so hard to stay committed to, you know, being a color guard director when
you're not getting paid.
You're not getting paid a lot.
You're literally not getting paid a lot. And one thing that I will say, and this is something that I hope changes in the future, but out of all of the band staff, the color guard director is the least paid director of all band staff. What is going on there? Because we have 2 full seasons. Not only do we do marching band season, but we also do a winter guard season. Now, sometimes percussion will, like, depending on the school, will have a winter percussion, but, like, what's going on there? You know?
Well, they do the concert. It's concert season in the fall.
But, like, it's just kind of like, what's going on there? Like, why are we so significantly paid less? And then also, too, I'm going to add on top of that, we don't get paid, like, as, like, a regular person that gets benefits. Like
Well,
you
some
said
some
earlier,
do, some do, but there's
you
not
know
enough
that was
funding.
the first time that I ever experienced that was in Texas. I had never experienced that in North Carolina. I had never experienced that in Arizona. Yeah, you know, I mean, I had goals, and one of those goals was like making a livable wage, and I just couldn't do that doing Colorguard. And then also too, like I wanted to continue performing. I couldn't do that. Now other things came into play where I, you know, left. My dad got sick and all those kind of things. But again, we have amazing people in this community. Why aren't they getting paid?
Right. And so it's
Why
so
can't we
easy to get
continue
that
growing this
burnout.
community?
Yeah, but you know, you had these life goals, and Colorguard really couldn't support you at that time with those goals. But now that you've, you know, you're married,
Yep.
you have a house, you have a full-time job.
Exactly. I left the Colorguard community to get some of those goals accomplished. So, and now I'm back. And guess what? I'm doing it as another job.
You are. But you found a way for
You know?
it to fit back into your life.
Exactly.
And that's, you know, that's kind of where,
Yeah.
and that's where a lot of people experience that burnout. It doesn't fit in their lives right now. And that is okay.
That's
you know,
okay.
if nobody's told you, that's okay. If you need to step back from it for a little bit, if you need to return later, if that's something you want to do.
Or if you don't want to turn
if you don't want to return. Yeah, like
That's
I'm going to
totally
be
fine.
honest. I've loved my experience here. When I step back, you know, this coming year, scheduled, it's on my schedules now. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll return.
Yeah.
You know, it's a time of my life that I really appreciated, but I don't really think it's serving me very much anymore.
Yeah.
And I will still watch it. I will still go and watch, you know, my favorite guards and come watch my kids and we'll still hang out.
I'll be here.
But I don't know if that's going to fit into my life in
Yeah.
the future. And that's okay. And I'm just coming to terms with the fact that that is okay because I've had so much guilt harboring around making that definitive statement that here I am this year. But that's okay because I now know I have the support going into this next season with the expectation from everybody that I will be stepping back from this role, but I'm going to do it in a way that makes me feel better about leaving.
Exactly.
So I have no regrets.
Yeah. And you know, the cool thing about you, like, and that's where I feel like it's also setting up everybody in the band program too, which I think is beneficial because everybody knows that you're going to be stepping back, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
We might be hiring for your position next year, or maybe one of our techs will take over that position and then we'll hire for another tech. Who knows?
Exactly.
Right? But the cool thing is that we're preparing for that. We're able to take a whole year, a full marching band season and a full winter guard season
to set that expectation.
Exactly. To not only like make this the time of your life, it's your last season, whatever, right? But then also too, it's giving us the opportunity to prep hardcore for that.
Yes.
And really like prepare for the exit and then bring in somebody else and make it a smooth transition.
And that makes me feel so much better about it.
And I love that.
Because if we had the staff on hand ready to take my spot, I think I would have stepped out after this year.
Which some programs do.
Some programs do, which is great.
There's programs here in Dallas that can do that. That there's actually one happening right down the road from us that's happening. They have all of that staff to be able to have that assistant director step into that director role. And then, you know, it trickles down, you know, everybody moves up kind of thing.
But just where our circumstances were,
right now,
we didn't have that. And so that's, you know, that's where, of course, a lot of the guilt came from. So although if I was a stronger person, I may have stepped out when I felt like I needed to. My goal for taking this role in the first place was because I was so passionate about the program and the staff. And so it just feels right for me in my situation to be able to wait until we met the circumstances, which, you know, we are going to meet those. And also, I will have to say, part of it was I'm privileged enough to still live with my parents.
Yeah.
I will say I still live with my parents.
Girl.
They're local. I'm
so
working
nice.
on it. But, you know, that's just,
But I mean, like,
I
you're saving
was
so much
able
money.
to do that,
Yeah.
you know?
You
And
have that capability.
if I wasn't living with my parents, I don't think I'd be able to stay.
Yeah.
But because I am, it gave me the opportunity to evaluate what's important to me. And what's important is I leave with the program good and set up.
Agreed.
And I leave you with somebody who you can work with.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's personally what I think every like job company like wants, right? They want like you know, for there to be a smooth transition. It doesn't always happen.
No,
you know?
it doesn't always happen. And that's okay. Like, if
doesn't
you're
happen
somewhere...
in our community a lot.
No, it doesn't.
It does not.
No.
Not unless, like, if the program is established, it does happen. But a lot of these programs are not established, or they're just hanging on by a thread, and one staff member leaves and the entire program crumbles.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I feel like I'm lucky to have that, like, oh, well, you know, I got a year to
For sure.
build up these techs, and then I get to decide, am I hiring for an assistant color guard director, or am I hiring for a tech?
Exactly.
So that's exciting.
The structure is important. And I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of these programs need more structure so people aren't stuck in, like, my position where they feel like, oh, I don't want to leave this program because I don't want it to crumble, but this doesn't serve me anymore, and I can't continue to do this at this time in my life. So, like, if that's you, like, if that sounds like something that you're going through right now, just talk about it.
Yep.
Because
100%.
I felt really bad because I didn't talk about it for a while because I was so guilty about what people would think. But being able to talk about it with you, we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
And that's what I did with you. Like, I was like, one, you got to tell me this early. You got to tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
You know? But two, like, I was like, girl, like, what? Like, let's get this figured out. Like, that's how I am. I'm very, and I guess I got this from my corporate job. One thing that I got from my corporate job that I have implemented in this job and other jobs is take the PTO. You need to take your time off.
I have not had anybody teach me that as much as you.
I will literally stand there at practice. I'm like, girl, if you just need to go home, like, go home. Like, I am not gonna, like, judge you.
Everybody needs to hear this. If you are experiencing burnout,
yeah,
it is normal.
Like,
take your time off.
Take your time off. Like, it's okay. And I am so big about that. Like, I am so big about saying, I went to Disney in the middle of our winter guard season.
You did.
Well, it was planned for a year.
It was planned, and it was fun.
Planned before I got hired.
And I have no resentment about that because you communicated it from the beginning.
I communicated it, and I also said, and when I went, like, I was texting, and, like, I, you know, got to see the video and all that kind of stuff.
Which you didn't need to be.
Which I didn't need to be.
But you wanted to
do that.
Yes.
But I was at Disney for an entire week.
Yeah.
And I took the time.
Yeah, and it's totally fine because you needed it.
Take it. You just gotta go. And you went to, like, what did you do?
I went to Austin for a weekend, although
it was like a long weekend, right?
It was like, I think it was a long weekend. I don't remember. All I remember is I was not as relaxed on that because we had a situation with the badges that were missing.
Oh, if I knew that you were going to be, like...
Caitlin, I was
if you were going to be so stressed out about that, I was just literally calling you just to ask. I was like, where are the badges?
You sounded stressed.
I was a little stressed because
I was also
looking for
stressed
them,
not being there.
And the bus was waiting for me.
They were in the drawer where I said they would be.
I was looking in the wrong drawer. I didn't even know the drawer existed.
I've only ever put stuff in the drawer. It's so funny to me.
I opened the big, like, wide drawer.
I've never opened
the only drawer that I've ever opened.
Well, now we have our stuff separately in our favorite drawers.
You like the tiny drawer. I like the big drawer.
It's
the big
badge sized.
It's badge sized. I love that. Yeah. So, you know, my biggest thing is that, you know, and I learned this from corporate, like, take your PTO, because at the end of the day, and I don't care if this sounds morbid or not, but at the end of the day, that company is going to replace you. You need to go and take your time. And I am never, ever going to let anybody make me feel bad for taking PTO when I've worked my butt off. And Bella, you've worked your butt off. So take your time. You don't have to show up on Saturday. Go home.
Thank you.
You know, and that's like... You know, that's where I, as a director, that's my job as a color guard director, is to be that supportive person and tell you, go home.
Which is great because I need to hear
PTO.
that, and I'm not hearing that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's okay, you know? So, yeah. You know, if you're experiencing that burnout, like, just remember, it's okay. Oh, man. That was awesome. I love that.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good to talk about.
Well, you know, thank you so much for, you know, watching our podcast. A couple of things before you go. If you want to submit a story, and it can be anything that you've experienced within the color guard world,
something
as
we've
a
talked
director,
about today.
Yeah, as an instructor, or even as as a performer, or if you want to like submit your own story about maybe an experience that you had with burnout. Submit that story on our direct messages on Instagram. We will have a website that you can submit it, but right now it's Instagram. So direct message us. Also, if you are in the Dallas, Fort Worth area and you want to be a guest on our podcast and you love talking about Colorguard, instant message us on Instagram.
Maybe we can work something out.
We can work something out if you want to come on, and be a guest. And the last one is if you know anybody that would love to sponsor our podcast and give us some money flowing.
We want to get paid.
So please, send over our information to them if they want to email us or direct message us on Instagram. Once our website is up, which hopefully it'll be in the next month or so, it's going to make our lives a lot easier, so keep an eye out for that, ColorguardCreative.com. It's literally so simple. It will be up and running soon. We have an amazing team that is working on that, so hopefully soon. If you're watching this in the super future, then just go to ColorguardCreative.com. But if you're not and you're listening to it now, then make sure you go on to our Instagram and instant message us about story submissions, guest appearances, and sponsorships. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for listening. Bye.